Welcome to True Paranormal, the podcast, with your host, Leo Rizzuti. Every week we will explore such topics as ghosts, demons, poltergeist, haunted history, time shifts, cryptozoology, and other aspects of the paranormal through listener-submitted accounts, documentary studies, and interviews with the investigators that dedicate their lives to searching for proof of the unknown. So get a fresh cup of coffee, dim the lights, relax, and get ready for a short visit to the realm of the True Paranormal. Hey guys, Leo Rizzuti here. Welcome to another episode of True Paranormal, the podcast. We have got a really special treat lined up for you guys this week. We sat down with Dalton Jones and Jessica Vick of Southern Souls Paranormal. Southern Souls is a paranormal research and haunting investigation group out of Alabama. And to say these guys are a top-notch team would be a vast understatement. I can tell you that I have very rarely run into, in all my years of doing investigations and dealing with the paranormal, a group as cohesive and as unified as this team is. They treat each other like family, and that comes with a lot of humor and a lot of great attitude and a lot of seriousness when it comes to investigating the paranormal. In part two, we initially sat down thinking it was going to be probably an hour-long conversation, talk about some and of the more that went out the window that they've had pretty quickly. It ended up being a little over 3 hours, which is why we are breaking this into two parts. Some more of their philosophy. In part one, we did a lot of talking about how Jessica and Dalton both got involved in the paranormal in the beginning, how their teams came together, what their philosophy is when it comes to building teams and how to run investigations, and even how to filter out who they're going to be investigating and why they're going to be investigating. And then we also went into some areas of rules for investigators during investigations, and it's just a lot of really good advice. If you are a paranormal researcher, or if you are thinking about getting into doing any kind of investigations, or if you're just really interested in what goes on behind the scenes of investigation work, this is going to be a great episode for you. They throw out so many nuggets and so many pieces of just great advice that I told him at one point, if I had had somebody have the kind of conversation with me when I was their age and I was just getting started in doing investigations, if I had had somebody tell me the kind of things that they put out in this episode, it would have saved me at least 2 to 3 years of making really boneheaded mistakes. So again, if you're interested in any aspect of that, if you're thinking about doing investigations, if you've got a team and things just aren't clicking the way you want them to click, take a listen to this episode and take their advice to heart, because these guys have got it going on in a really strong way. So without any further ado, let's get to our conversation with Dalton Jones and Jessica Vick of Southern Souls Paranormal. Enjoy. Hey guys, we're joined this week with Jessica Vick and Dalton Jones from Southern Souls Paranormal. They are a haunting investigation group out of Alabama, and that makes me feel great because they are Southerners, and I love talking to Southerners. Makes me feel right at home. If you guys could, I know a little bit about your group, but if y'all could go into a little bit about your background and about what got you into doing haunting investigations, and really what Southern Souls Paranormal is all about.
Which the first three were, so it really, for me, it started at a young age with, watching Scooby-Doo, as most other kids back then did. I mean, that was my show. Say it was, I watched finger every day. Middle finger. I was obsessed with the index finger and thumb. That as bad as I hate to say that, but I mean it's true. And then we went outside. As I got older, about 10 or 11, the homeowners, I started watching Ghostbusters House, and that was like my favorite movie of all time. And it still is one of my favorites. And left at about rear wheel 14 or 15. I got into Ghost Hunters International and Ghost Adventures.
I tried,
Mhm.
nothing came out.
Seeing those people do that,
The homeowner inside brought me.
it was, you know, I thought, well, that's pretty cool. You know, I want to try that. About
I turned the
3
corner
or 4 months down the road,
hallway,
you know, I got,
it was between two
I
doors.
ordered some equipment,
bedroom
you know,
door and
some
another
small
bedroom.
things, a cheap EMF
Right between
detector
those hallways.
and
Very end.
a PSP7, and that was what I worked with at the time. And I was just, you know, testing it out and then using the recorder on my phone. But now,
and at that exact same
I realize
time,
that
like
phone recorders don't work as well.
I felt this rush of energy just hit me.
Since the beginning, I've
it
always
scared
been
me.
about helping people, and you know, I've never wanted to do it for
That
money.
doesn't startle
It's
anybody.
just, you know, it's a passion of mine that, you know, I really enjoy it. You know, it's pretty cool to
off and ran back
do what
outside,
we do, and you know, to have
if that
a
happened
support group.
today,
I
it would
guess
probably
I
scare
would
me,
say,
but I wouldn't
you
go
know,
for it.
friends,
Back
family,
outside.
people we don't know that
I mean,
support
that was
us,
the
and
first
you know,
time
that makes us feel like we're on the right path.
Right. Well, the first
that we're
time
doing
is
something
always
right.
the worst, and that's absolutely. I'd be hard pressed. How about you, Jesse? What got you into the paranormal? Anybody who's had an experience like that who did have the exact same reaction
a little bit
you had,
different
where
than
you just got to
his.
get out of there for a minute.
Mine actually started. I can remember the very first
we actually were
experience that I ever
contacted
had.
about 3 or 4 weeks
And
ago
I'll try to make it
by
short
someone
because
that
it's
lives
a
in
little long.
Florence.
But basically,
I'm
I
gonna
was
call
around
her
the age of
Jane
4
Doe
or
and
5 years
boyfriend
old,
John
and
Doe.
my parents,
These are not
they
our
worked
investigators.
the graveyard
Since then,
shift,
they've left.
so
So
my
they
brother and
contacted
I,
us
we
3
would have to
weeks
go
ago,
stay with our
3 or 4
grandparents.
weeks ago,
So I
about
remember it
a
was
haunt
around
that
3
they
o'clock
had.
in the morning,
And
and
you know,
where they
it was
lived,
kind of
we lived
weird.
in a
When me and
neighborhood that my
Jessica, we
grandmother's
actually
house
just
was
got done with
kind
a
of
little bit of
surrounded by
investigation
woods.
ourselves.
So I
Down
remember I
in
got my little happy butt out of the
investigation
truck
in Southern
and I
Alabama.
started walking up onto the
But
porch,
we
and down in front of the
we
house
just got
was
back up to Tuscaloosa,
a very
where
thin
I
tree
currently
line.
live,
So it would have been
and
to my left.
we
I
seen
heard
this message on our
this
page.
laughter,
Pulled it up,
and
and
I
we
can
asked
still
for
hear it
help.
in my head, but
So
to
well,
try
if
to
you're free right now,
describe
you
it
can
to
call
you
us.
is
And that was around
not gonna happen because I sound
12
goofy when I try to do it.
30-ish.
But
So I mean, it was pretty late.
Well, now it makes me want to hear.
About an hour and a half.
Okay,
And
I heard this
no, it was
sound
probably an
version,
hour.
but it was kind of like the
We talked
whole
to her, and
wah
you
ha
know,
ha ha,
everything she
you know,
told
the
us
generic
was,
evil laughter. I mean, I
you know,
swear,
it all
and
lined up, and it,
it
you know,
was
she was
so
consistent in her
evil
answers, and
sounding
basically she
and
was telling us
so
that she
deep
felt like
and
something
dark, baritone
pure
sounding that
evil, just,
it
you know, a
literally scared
malevolent
the
entity,
piss out of me. And
was
so
at
I
her home,
froze and I looked down.
you know,
And I didn't,
she would tell us
obviously as a kid,
about
I
she
didn't
would
see
come
anything.
home,
So
and these doors would be
started
open, all the doors in her
yelling
house,
for my
including
grandmother, and
her
I was knocking on the
cabinet
door, ringing the
drawers,
doorbell,
and
and she
you know,
comes, she's like, "What is
stuff
wrong
like
with
that.
you?"
And
I said,
you know, it
"Somebody's
was
laughing at me
pretty
in the
crazy,
woods."
because I've
And
never
she's
actually
like,
had somebody
"What are
call
you
us for
talking
something
about?
like
It's 2
that. So
o'clock
at
in the morning."
first,
And I'm like,
you know, this goes for both of us. Me and
"There's
Jessica
a
were like,
man just laughing in the
they
woods." I
could be
said, "Is
pulling our
Papa in the
chain, but
woods?" She
I'm gonna give
said,
them a
"No,
chance.
he's in the bed." So basically, I
But
had
they
to make
kept
her
describing all
show
this stuff
me
to me,
that
and
he was
they told us
physically
that
in the bed
they came
asleep.
home another
So
time,
she took me in
and
the
all
house
the
and
lights
she
were on
showed
in
me,
their
and
house.
I
And
told her
then
what I heard.
another time,
And still to this
the
day,
kitchen
just
drawer was
something in me
open,
feels that was
and it was a
paranormal. I
knife
mean, I
stuck in the
know you
wall.
can sometimes rule things
So,
out.
you
You
know,
know, people will blame it on your
hearing that,
imagination, you're being that young. But I mean, I
it
will
was
argue with
kind
you
of,
until I am
you
blue in the
know,
face that
I
was
believe
something
it was on
paranormal
chain,
because I
but,
heard it.
you know,
And
I told her I'd call her back
but as
tomorrow,
far as the rest of my background,
and, you know,
I've always kind of
do
been
a
the black
thorough
sheep in my
interview with her,
family,
and I
and my
did.
mama can tell you that. You know,
She told me
especially
a lot
growing
of
up in
other
the South,
stuff,
like
and, you know, since
I
that
didn't
interview, I've
necessarily
actually learned a lot more.
feel like I fit in
But,
down here.
you know,
So when
I
I
did a little
started
bit of research, and
growing
just
up
like Jessica,
and learning
I've
more about
studied
paranormal, I was like,
demonology,
hey, this stuff
but
is kind of cool, you
I
know,
had
because
determined, and I'm
I've
not an
always been a
exorcist
knowledge
at all.
seeker. I've
You
always
know, I'm
been,
not trained to do
I
that,
always
but
want to
from
know
my own
answers. I'm
personal
always
opinion,
asking questions. I mean, everybody can tell
believe
you
that they are
that knows
in
me, I will,
second stage
get on your nerves asking
of possession,
questions.
which is demonic
So
obsession.
it's
There's
interesting
3
to me
stages
that
to
there is
possession.
something out
There's
there that we can't
oppression,
see that
obsession,
can,
possession. They're
touch
in
you
early
or
obsession,
move
if
things
not
or,
mid to late
let you have
by
a
now.
5-second
So
glimpse
it's
of
only a matter of
their
time
being,
before
and
one of
it's
them,
always,
something does
it's
happen to
just
one of them,
something
and we're
I've
trying
always
to
been so
get this
intrigued in, and,
investigation done.
like I said, around here,
And
it's
we're
kind of
actually supposed to
taboo,
do
the
that
paranormal and all that,
last
especially
Saturday,
well,
September
no
1st.
offense to any Christians out there,
Since
but,
something actually happened with their family.
it's just, I don't really know how to explain it. It just feels like a calling to me, and it's just I want to know as much as I can about it. And I've had several more experiences, as I got older. Now, and I've done so much research on it. And I've sat and just trying to educate myself, and we'd go to our local graveyard, and I'd bring my little camera, and like, oh my God, I got an orb, like that was exciting. And it was, it was kind of like, 'cause I was watching,
there was several times that there was one time I talked to my
can't
grandmother
remember
on
the
the
very
phone.
first paranormal
I
show
was
I
telling her
watched,
about
but it was
this
a group based in the UK, and they had a psychic medium, and I started watching it when I was around 12 or 13, and I just became so obsessed with that. And I was like, I want to do that, I want to go. But yeah, it was, I thought I was bad with my little camera.
I don't
my little
remember what her
Kodak,
name is, but it's
digital camera, and I'd go out in the graveyard, and I'd take
assistant,
photos, and I would get
Mr.
orbs and
Oliet
stuff. I would
was
take
next
photos
to
in my house. I said,
for the
well,
Holy Nicolaitan
there's
Church in
one of my
Atlanta.
dead relatives hanging out.
Right. He does a
the
lot of
living
good
room or
work.
something,
Yeah, and
or
he's been on
at the
Ghost Adventure
time, that's
several
what I
times.
thought, but
Right.
But
because I know a heck of a
he's
lot
going to
more
be the
now
one
than
that
I
does
did then, but it was
exorcism.
still,
But
every
we need to
time
get the
I had an
investigation done
experience,
first.
I mean, it just,
But anyway, back
it
to
lit a fire
when I
in
was on
me
the phone with my
that just
grandmother.
nobody
I was
can put
talking
out.
to her, and I told her
Probably one
about
of
The
the
Exorcist.
coolest
And I was on the phone with her for
experiences
about
I've
5 or
had
6
is
minutes, and I mentioned
saw something physically
The
move with
Exorcist's
my
name,
own eyes.
and the phone hung up.
Okay. Yeah. Tell us about
Her phone
that.
was sitting down.
Well,
She
it's
was
kind
actually
of
cooking
random.
dinner, and I was
And I'm not
outside,
gonna
and
name
my
any
phone was
names,
sitting in my
but
lap.
because she'll
Phone
hear
hung up.
this, but
Didn't call.
so
Called her back.
we
And
were. It
30
was.
seconds later, I mentioned
I want
his
to say
name,
it was
hung up
December
again.
of
And I
2009.
called her back, and finally
I was at my
I just
friend's
like the
house.
bishop,
It was an apartment actually,
Archbishop
and it was her
Brian
mom,
Uliet,
me,
and I
her,
didn't
and
hang
her
up
two
that time.
sisters,
But
and we were sitting there. Y'all gonna laugh at
after
me,
that, I called
but we were
Jessica,
sitting
and I'm
there
like, you won't believe
waiting
what
on
just
the
happened. And I
music
said,
video premiere
I
of
was
Lady
talking to my
Gaga and
grandmother,
Beyonce's song
and I
Telephone.
said the bishop's name,
And
Brian
like we were
Uliet,
sitting there waiting on
and
it, like it was
right
supposed to
after
premiere at
that,
5.
it
So
was probably 3 or 4
in
seconds
their
after that,
house,
I
they
heard
had
a
you
limb
go into the
crack
living room, and
fall, and
when
it
you
was
walk in the
fairly
door
large
toward the
limb. I
right,
never
there was a
actually seen it,
bedroom, and
I don't even know
there
if it
was
hit the
a
ground, if it
calendar.
got caught up in
Now I'm
some other
telling you, this is
limbs or
random,
whatever,
so
but I
random.
heard
She can
that
tell you to
crack
this
and
day
fall.
that it happened.
And the
I
thing
mean,
was, it hadn't
there was a
rained,
calendar
and
behind the
the
door,
wind
and it
wasn't
had a
blowing. It
highlighter
was
on
a
it.
pretty
I
calm
was
day,
sitting so
actually.
that the door
But
entrance
it
to the
was
bedroom would
just,
be on my
it was
left.
so weird. I'm like, did you hear
Well,
that? She said, no. I said, a
I'm sitting
limb
there,
just
and
fell.
I don't know. I just
Whenever I said
something
his name.
something
That
made
was so
me.
weird.
I don't want to
And,
say something told
me
me,
and
but
Jessica
for some
had
reason I
been
looked
getting
toward the
nauseous
door, and
and,
when I did,
wanting
I
to just
witnessed
puke
the
for no
highlighter
reason.
come
But
off
since
of
the
the hook,
investigation was delayed,
come
we
around the
haven't had
door,
those problems
basically
anymore.
kind of
At
levitate
least I
around the
haven't.
door,
Uh,
and started.
I want to ask
I don't even know
Jessica,
how to explain it. It
have
just
you
flew
actually
into the
felt
living room
anything
and slid
else? Have
across
you
the
felt
floor.
nauseous or anything?
And we were
Because I
like,
don't think
we
I've
all
asked you
stopped
that
and looked at
since
each
then.
other. We looked in there, and her little sister was in the other bedroom playing.
Yeah,
And so,
but
brave me, everybody else was too scared. I got up to go look. There is no
weird.
possible way that was her sister. And I sat there and physically watched this highlighter pen, whatever you want to call it,
Well, I do suffer
curve
from
around the door.
depression
And I'm like,
anxiety, and
whoa.
I don't know.
And so it's kind of weird
I don't
because
want to say it's 100%
we kind of believe that she has some type of spiritual attachment.
Because
Everywhere
all
she's
excited
lived,
about getting to do
it's
that
always
investigation,
been,
and
they've always had some
it
type of
was,
activity, which
I
now
was like,
they live in a whole
this
new
is, 'cause it was a big
location,
deal.
and she told me it was, I
like
believe,
I said,
Saturday
when you're
night,
dealing with a demon, it's a whole
Friday
different
night,
magnitude. It's a
her
whole different, and
light bulb over their
it should
kitchen
be taken seriously. And I had all this
table exploded in the socket.
Motivation.
Now, logical me was thinking, maybe the fuse or the wires or something got too hot and caused it to explode. But she's like, no. She's like, this. She said it just exploded.
And I'm not 100%.
So I told her, well, go cut the fuse off,
whatever.
But it's just stuff like that. Like I've just always been into the taboo type stuff, the occult type stuff, the darker side of life. And if you were to see me in person, you would look at me and be like, you wouldn't think, that's my kind of personality, that's my interest, because I look just like a normal person. And some say I'm kind of a goth girl at heart because
I've been a little
my
bit more
music
depressed
preferences and
and,
just the things that I like to do. So
keep my mind on
it's just pretty much, I mean,
positive.
I'm always down for something paranormal, always. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it just hypes me up. It gives me so much adrenaline.
Well, that actually sounds like most normal people that I know. It's just a lot of folks don't have the guts to admit that they're into it. You know, it's not so much that they're not that it's abnormal. It's just that most folks don't. They don't get as involved with it as folks like us do. It's the truth of the matter. So how did you guys come together? How did y'all form up a group?
You're going to be roadblocked at every turn. You're going to
longest
feel
time.
physically ill.
Like I
You're
said,
going to
I
feel
started
mentally
at
wiped out.
15, so
And that's before the
I was
actual
born in
investigation.
2000.
It's
So I
happened
started
to
the
me.
team
It's
in
happened to every investigator
2015.
that I
For the
know
longest time, it was
that
just
has run
me
into something like
doing
this.
solo
And,
investigations,
it's
which can be
just a fact of life when it
scary
comes to it.
and
But
dangerous at the same
the
time.
good thing
Uh,
is, if there's a
and
good thing that can
whenever
be
you're doing an
brought out of it,
investigation,
is
you
it
always want
gives you
to have
confirmation
somebody
that
there
you're
with you.
dealing with something
Not
that
necessarily
you
in
need
the
to
same
actually deal
room,
with.
but you always want to have
Exactly.
somebody
And
else
I'll
with
tell
you.
you another thing
No,
too.
it's
What?
not just for safety reasons, but also for credibility reasons.
Yes, exactly.
Was actually there the
But
day that this happened.
and like I said,
But
I don't recommend doing it by yourself for the reasons that you just said, credibility and safety. But like I said, for the longest time it was just me, and then I had two investigators join me from a house that I investigated back in September of 2017. Since then, since that investigation, we'd done a lot. We'd been on a lot of investigations and seen a lot of cool things. We had a seminar. We hosted a seminar with the Bama boys, Jonathan Hodges and Benny Reed. They're great people. Talking to them. They're real great guys, real funny. And like I said, we did a bunch of investigations. We did an investigation at the House of Dolls in Cortland, Alabama. But since then, they left for their own reasons. But shortly before they left, I had hired in 4 new investigators. I'm sorry, 3 new investigators. And that would be Jessica, Sean South, and Walker Gibson. And Sean South, he actually has played on The Walking Dead, Stranger Things. He was the garbage man in the movie The Ant-Man. I mean, he's played in a lot of good movies and TV shows. He's played in Snapped. He's played in a few Disney movies and Marvel TV shows. But he's a really good guy to have on the team, and it kind of keeps us, it kind of keeps things interesting. It's just he can tell us, about some of the things he's filmed or whatever. Of course, he can't tell us, what he's working on now. Which actually he is working on a project. He wouldn't tell us what it was, of course, and if he did, we wouldn't be able to say anything. But
Exactly.
I think that's pretty cool for us to have an actor that he's still acting. I think that's pretty cool to have, especially being somebody that's been on very popular TV shows. I mean, The Walking Dead and Stranger Things. I mean, those are the 2 most popular TV shows out there right now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's just pretty cool to have him on the team. And Walker, he actually has a lot of knowledge on the paranormal. And most people that I have that want to join the team, they don't really have much knowledge. I mean, their knowledge is minimal. They know what an orb is or what an apparition is, but as far as the equipment goes, they know the names, but they don't know how they function. And they really don't know. I call it the rules of an investigation, which we follow. They don't really know any of that. So I'm not necessarily starting from
Absolutely, and things like that.
ground zero or anything, but
your average
I'm
skeptic
building
would say,
them
well,
up from what they
you weren't
already
checking
have,
the
and building
oil,
on their
you're
knowledge.
asking for trouble with this.
And
This
Jessica
used
also
car
had
that's gonna
a
break
pretty good
down
bit of knowledge
things like that, and none of that's
from whenever
wrong.
we
None
first
of that's
spoke on the phone
incorrect. But it's
before
the
I hired
matter
her.
of
But
this thing after
just
this thing
to
after
have
this thing after this thing
these
happens, all
investigators
in
that
back to
a
back
lot
to
of
back
times
to
I
back to
actually
back.
refer to them as
You
family
can't
because
all
they
do
really
it
are.
all at the same time. But
We
when you're
have
dealing
each
with
other's backs
demonic
on and off
infestation,
investigations.
a lot of times everything goes wrong.
We'll be there for each other, no matter what happens.
Can't explain it.
And that's something you need to have whenever you're building a team. You want to have not just a professional relationship, but a friendship. I mean, you want to these people are going to be they're going to be watching your back. You don't want somebody that, is kind of, well, I don't really like him, or, he's kind of stuck up. You want them to be your friends, because they rely on them. So that's just one of my tips that, I have for anybody out there wanting to start a team. Have a professional relationship with them, but also have a friendship with them as well.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I know the guys that I had working on my team when I lived down in North Carolina were as close to me as family, and we would do anything. To this day, we do anything in the world for each other. Just when you're doing an investigation, you're in a stressful situation to begin with. You're constantly on the lookout for stuff. You have to know that the person that you're with is somebody that you can trust. So, and also you have to know that this is a person that's going to be honest with you. If they say that they experienced something, that they're going to be upfront with you. They're just not going to try to make things up or try to show off or anything like that.
That's kind of, it's not a coincidence.
That's one of our biggest rules is if you fake evidence once,
Absolutely.
you're going to be.
I mean, again, it's not
anything
that's.
I hate to say it, it's not anything because we want our evidence to be 100% real as we can get. And if you fake evidence after that, you're gone. And so I'm pretty strict for the rules, but I'm not like I'm strict in the right ways. None of my investigators think me as a boss or anything like that, but more as a friend. So I do lay some ground rules, like no faking evidence or anything like that. But other than that, that's really our main rule. And then besides that, we have take great care of the person that we're doing the investigation for. We prepare them both before and after an investigation. Before the investigation, we'll call them every day or every other day, depending on how often they want to be contacted. And has anything changed? Has the activity increased? Has it decreased? Have you heard any more voices? Have you seen any shadows that you haven't seen before? And we'll just ask them those questions just about every day. We're gonna reschedule any time that we contact them. And then afterwards, we're like, okay, has the activity decreased or increased? Have you gotten more physical? Anything like that, and we just try to figure out all of us really, okay, that what did this investigation do for them? I mean, as far as the activity goes. And then while we're doing that, we're also working on their evidence, which that's statewide Alabama News. I've started. I was always the one that worked on the Alabama News website. They did a story on me and the team. It's really kind of hard. And they were probably going to do. Try to word this the right way so on us. People don't take this the wrong way. It's hard to trust someone else with evidence, the investigation and because they're trustworthy, our team but because I've been doing it for, y'all can actually find that since 2015 on AL.com, and I know what to look for, and I'm very observant. Southern Souls Paranormal. I mean, if anybody's going to type in AL.com, the evidence is going to be Jessica. You'll find because she in a lot of ways she's a lot like me. A pretty good job. I think that's why she makes such a great co-lead. Great job on writing the story. She's done a lot for us, but I mean, she's overall a great investigator, and I wouldn't trade any of my investigators for anybody else. And in all honesty, and I hope that they stay with us for years to come. I mean, even if they don't, I still want to keep connection with them. Oh, he's getting stay in contact with them. I'm like, yeah. And, that's very important because, say if an investigator leaves, you stay in contact with them, they're more likely to come back that's something I've to your group. Always wanted to do.
Absolutely.
Which, I've always me personally, I don't have, that, if you're doing this for the fame, money, on a pedestal or anything like that, I just, I congratulate them on you're doing it for their reasons. I mean,
you're definitely barking at the wrong tree.
Okay, you just got an EVP. Great job. That sounds really great.
At a conference I was
we'll try to figure out what question you asked. usually get responsive to that question, we'll use that question again, because sometimes we'll come up with a question that we've never asked before. And we'll, again, in the different investigations, if we get another response out of it. So if somebody finds that magic question, I'll be pretty excited about that. And, to get an EVP, it's pretty awesome. And that's very true. Like to congratulate them. And Jessica is actually some people that empathic want to get into. So she can sense things. She's, ever since I've known her, I mean, she's been able to pick out a lie and go out. I'm not saying I've lied to her, but this is something you want to do whenever try that out, lying to her, or if it turns out that's really interesting. And she can sense a lot of different energies as well. Don't buy all this equipment. She can tell you, okay, there's investigation yet until there's possibly thousands of dollars worth of equipment, but it's pretty cool to have somebody like that on the team. They're not going to refund. We've had somebody like her before, but not to this extent.
So
like she's been a great investigator. All of my investigators have. They all have their different personalities, and I think that's what makes this team so great.
I know what equipment is,
and a lot of guys all these different personalities, and we all kind of mesh together.
You throw out a lot of terms
form a family
about certain equipment. What do you use?
We all work together seamlessly.
Well,
and
I mean,
that's
we use everything from ITC
to
communication
work together
to
and not have any type of conflict,
meters, and
of course,
thermometers.
With the work we do, we're going to have disagreements. Hey, that EVP says,
but
such and such. No, this EVP says that.
Usually start with the most.
And then,
but
that's
go from there
up. You don't want to break out into an argument or them off. But as far as disagreements go, that's really the only disagreements we'll ever have. I mean, we've got the EVP recorders like that that work so great together. It's voice recorder. There's nothing special about it. And I mean, it's not something that you just need to throw away because once our time come onto that team, it's more mess it all out. So you need to be very careful on who you bring on. You rarely ever, because that can cause a lot of stress on other investigators as well. Say this person, it's very never shuts up like that, or thinks they know they have the cameras, which that could cause a lot of stress on other team members. And during investigations, we're all not going to be at our best. Smoke anomalies, but once you find apparitions and stuff like that, spot where from that everybody works, you've got your digital camera, then you've got your night vision. I wouldn't really focus on bringing anybody else to the team stuff. And if you do, be very careful. Which is basically another version. Make a team decision. Using a different spectrum of light than what. And just try to find somebody that everybody can PSP 7, this guy's PSP investigator. Basically, the PSP 11 is if we all PSP 7 is a unanimous decision. What that does is it sweeps through radio.
So what did, because
at a very fast
obviously
rate,
you put a lot of thought into how you constructed your team. And I know you've got Jessica who's empathic. Do you feel like you have to have somebody like that on your team, or do you feel like if you were putting together a team and you didn't have somebody that was empathic or that had any kind of special abilities like that, do you think you'd be as successful?
Well, I mean,
radio interference
really, as far as being successful goes, I mean,
5 minutes.
Whether you have an empathic
will void the warranty
or not,
if you get a warranty.
It's really on how you carry yourself, how you represent your team,
the
how good of a
PSP
job
with the warranty.
That makes
I think
you
the
successful.
11 does.
I mean, if Jessica was to take a few screws out, she would still be a great investigator. And I mean,
screws back
you can either have one or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
But having an empath would be a plus.
One of your main tools in
to
your
any team,
arsenal right now.
but you really don't need to have no more than two.
Not
From what I've heard,
necessarily.
I mean,
we do
done,
use it a lot.
Their energies can cross and kind of.
We usually
Not really. It's going to mess another team member's energy up if that's making sense.
Oculus.
I'm really not sure on how to word that.
I know exactly what you're talking about because
we
when
use those a lot.
when I was your age, I was going to a lot of seminars on. This was the early days of haunting investigations. This was in the early 90s.
We're getting a lot of things
And
on
Ed
the
and Lorraine
PS7.
Warren, who of course are world famous investigators would do seminars, and I went to a couple of them. And of course, Lorraine is psychic. She's an empath, and she always said she said the same exact thing. She never wanted more than one other person who had any kind of special abilities like that with them, because she said you get cross signals, which is exactly what you're describing. So if you had a team of, let's say you had a team of 4 or 5 people, and all 4 or 5 of them were empaths, well, they could just be messing each other up and tripping over their own feet.
One degree lower. I mean, for instance, it could say,
if people look at empaths like
goodbye
their goals to
whenever it's 73 degrees,
paranormal research
on 72.
and it's great to have one, but if you have too many of them, it's not going to work out. It's not. But I've seen a team that had 3 empaths on there out of 6 different team members, and their team fell apart. And I told my investigators, I said, not like in a literal sense, but they didn't really get
and I told them don't move
fast
with it.
Their stuff was just not very clear. We kind of contradicted on a steady surface, and that goes for any team that has more than at least a foot away from 3, so we don't empaths on our team.
Blow on it and make it change.
And it really depends on how many members you have.
It's just
it's a while back, and I'm still kind of thinking it's because it's easy to get false evidence from. Hiring in more investigators, or actually bringing more investigators onto the team, and have areas, separate areas, to where we can help people all over the Southeast. Areas in Mississippi, areas in Alabama, areas in Georgia, and all of them would have a co-leader.
You don't want to burst somebody's bubble with that, but that's just the reality of it.
Only empath per that area of investigation.
If you're walking under exposed wires and you're getting a high
area team, not a
you're not really
full team of investigators. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, there's an investigation in Atlanta, Georgia. Mike, Bob, and Billy. Billy's an empath. 2 things I want to say. I go over to Georgia, or I have I get another co-leader over there. People can, they're investigating this house over here, and meanwhile over in Mississippi, there's another team.
The most
Sally,
easily faked piece of equipment is the
Brian. And we do not got their own investigation. So it wouldn't be like all of us. They can be so easily manipulated. Investigators all come into one house. But
you got to walk.
I feel like that would help a lot more people, or a lot more
got that
K2 meter in your hand, and
kind of is going to light up.
Kind of be a little different. Anybody in the other team, as far as I know, down subtly, press that button.
Right. The only time you hear of anything like that is obviously with the TV shows like the Cats Network. I know they have multiple teams, and they kind of fall under one big umbrella and things like that. But you don't really hear a whole lot of that outside of the big name group. So that's pretty ambitious on your part, for sure. So what would you say then? Because one thing that you need if you're going to build a network like that is you need a core philosophy. What's your core philosophy then when it comes to investigations? And what would you say is your mission when you come in? Are you more we're just going to gather evidence, or are you actually trying to help folks out long term, or what's your end game when you go into a place to investigate?
Well, we're going in there to get evidence first of all, but we also want to make sure that the homeowners are comfortable, whether they're there with us or if they left the house, stayed at a hotel or whatever. We want to make sure they're comfortable, and we want to get the best evidence possible to figure out who it is that's there and why they're there. Are they related to them? Do they live in that house before? And a lot of times, like I was saying, some of those answers never get answered. He doesn't want anybody going in there and spirits are just like people. I walked up to you on the side of the road. We went in there and said, "Hey, are you related to so and so?" Stuff like that. But most people would say, "Yeah." They'll be like, "Well, who are you?" Why does that concern you? I mean, it's just 20 or 30 years. They kind of have the same mindset. So that makes any sense. Years. And a lot of times spirits don't even know they're dead. And I know people have heard we went in there, and Jessica can even validate spirits. They're just like people. And we had spite in a lot of ways. Only thing is we can't see them all the time.
Yeah.
But they can still think. They can tell you things.
And, that's been something that, I've known ever since I've started. And a lot of hauntings are intelligent hauntings. As far as the ones that I've done, most of them are intelligent hauntings. But, I mean, every time we go into an investigation,
and I had
we
never,
pray.
well,
Or at least
I
I try to remember that. Sometimes, depending on the investigation,
but I have
what all's
seen
going on that day, sometimes you forget.
But
Just like these two cases in particular,
cases where I've seen them
where we went into this house.
I want to ask you your personal opinion. What do you think
started
caused
recording
that
on
other than
our
the spirit?
EVP recorder,
That
and
high EMF of a
we got
spike.
pray to God.
Honestly, I mean, and I
Two
used to
different
be a general
voices
contractor.
and
I
two
know,
different investigations,
I know
but we
old
both
homes
forgot
because I
to pray.
specialize in century homes. I know old homes, I know old wiring. So I can't think of anything that would cause
they're
that
actually
random of a
looking out for
spike.
you.
And then
Yeah.
you said you're talking about the location. You're in a location
That's
near
pretty
a table,
amazing, and
at the same time
that's
another piece of
probably
equipment
one of my
pops up with
favorite
the word
EVPs I've
table.
ever gotten.
Mhm.
But back
That's
to the
just,
philosophy.
again,
You want to take care of
something popping up
of
with
the
the table
homeowners,
might not
because if you
necessarily
don't take
be
care of them, you
great
treat them like
evidence.
crap.
But
They're
that
going to put out
conjunction
a
with a
bad word
big
on you.
EMF spike, and I've
And
never seen one
ratings
that big
in
in a home that didn't have power
for
attached.
paranormal
You know,
teams
sometimes
are
even
a
if you've
big
got
deal.
the
I
power
mean, if
shut
you have
off,
a 2-star team
you
or a
just gone
1-star
hit all the
team,
switches, turned all the lights and
people are
everything
going to be
off,
like,
you'll
well,
still get
I
a
mean,
surge through the wires
this
sometimes.
team,
But
I
it has to
mean,
be
they might
actually
be
actively
thieves, or they
connected
might
to a
treat you
power
like
source.
crap, or
And it
might
sounds
damage
like
your
that house
property and
wasn't.
not pay for it.
Yeah, and
I don't know about
we
them, but
actually
then you
did a
see a
lot of video
5-star
of the
team back here, and you're like,
investigation.
oh
You can
yeah, they're
actually see
great.
us,
And you read the reviews on
there was some
them, and we've got
investigations
great
on our
reviews. Which
page.
we
you
try
know, it's a
to
little bit further down
have
now, but I mean,
everybody
they
that we've
can
done an
find us. I was
investigation
going through
for
our
leave
videos.
an
You can
honest
actually
review
see
with
the
some
spikes,
feedback.
and it's
Tell us what we did
constantly
right, what we
stayed
did
above
wrong,
50.
what would you change.
And now there were some times it dropped below 50.
What was your favorite
leveled
part of the
out at
investigation?
0.
What was your least
And
favorite?
it picked right back.
And of course,
and
some
went
of
back
those questions
to,
can't be answered
200 or
if they weren't
180,
there.
whatever.
If they
But
left the
I'm
house
not even
for
sure
us to
how
investigate.
high
But
that thing detects.
most of the
I
time
do
they'll
know
tell us
several
that
times
hey,
said
these guys
error.
were really great, and
I mean, it didn't actually
they
say
came in
error,
and did
but
their
it showed a
job,
flat line.
and they
I
got back
believe
with
was
us the
just
next
an error.
day, and thanked us.
It
And
went as high as it could go.
that's something
And,
that
my main
you
concern
really
was
want
like,
to
I hope
have.
this thing
You
doesn't
want
tear
to
up my
have people
equipment.
skills,
I mean,
because you're going to be
I've
working
seen
with
that before.
all
I've
these
seen
different
a
strangers, and
a
you're going to be
reel
going into
tape
their
recorder
home.
get burned up.
That is their home.
Not
That is
like
their
caught
safe
fire,
place.
but the wiring
And
in
for
it
them
got
to let a
burned up
stranger in,
and
and to
during
film
that
them,
investigation.
and to be there
that was
all
my
night
concern. I'm like, I hope this thing doesn't tear it up.
and that's a
But
big deal.
I
And
mean,
that's
after that, it was
you
fine.
have
We
to be
left the
trusted.
house, and I got back to my house,
Our
and
ratings
I
to us are
turned it on, and it
a
was
lot.
right at 0.
And we've been a 5-star group ever
And
since
you can actually see in the
2015.
video where
We've never been below
I'm
a
walking
5-star.
from, I walk in
And
two
you
separate
know
rooms.
that's
I'm
something
flipping the
that
light
I
switches
really
on. There's
pride
absolutely
me and
no
my team
power
on.
here.
Which
Pulling on
of course
the
there has
the
been some
ceiling
people
fans
that
and stuff, no
they're
power.
not
I mean,
really
it was
nice,
a rather,
but you just got to kind of go through with it. And
the investigation itself was a dangerous.
Got to be nice to them.
I mean, we went in there with respirators on.
Do whatever it takes to
We
get
opened
that
up a
5-star.
closet.
I mean,
inside
you
the closet
want to have that
I've never seen that much
that good rating. So
in my life.
That's really important.
In it.
But
And the other thing is that if it was
as far as taking care of
a
the
surge,
homeowner,
if it
and
was
then
somehow connected to a power
making
grid,
sure you get the best
and it was
evidence
a
and
surge
getting
that
it to
it
them
would
as quickly
be
as possible.
just a blip. It would
What
be
most
one
people
spike,
believe,
that would be
or
it.
what
You wouldn't see
I
anything
wouldn't really say
else.
most people,
It
but
wouldn't
what
be
some
a
people believe
steady
is that this is our
high
job.
level or anything like that. It would literally be
And it's
a
not.
split
We all
second. That
have
would be
our
it.
day jobs. We all
Yeah.
have our jobs that we
And,
do
I
during
mean,
the week.
Jessica, how long would you say we had those
This is
spikes?
not the only thing we do.
Maybe.
And so we can't just
I don't
stay
know,
up all
but
day and
it,
then
it's weird.
work on your evidence.
that
It's going to take a few
on the
weeks,
second
depending
level
on how much
really
is
where
there, how long we
kept
record
getting
it,
them, and it just, in
and
that,
depending on
that
how
one
busy
specific
we are.
room.
I mean, if we've
And
got an investigation
say
after investigation after investigation,
close
it could take up to a month and a
45
half
minutes.
before we get your
Little less
evidence
or
sent to
maybe
you.
close to
And
45 minutes. It just kept
some people
going
kind of they
nonstop.
don't really like that,
there
but
would be a few
they kind of get
seconds,
where we're coming from.
maybe
And
up to a
if
minute
we have
where
all
it
these
would,
investigations,
go back to
say
zero.
we have
but
5
then it would
investigations,
just
we've
spike
got,
right back up.
and
And
you're the last investigation we did.
it
I
was
mean, it
just,
could
we
be
walked around the whole
4
place,
months before we
and
get to your
just
evidence,
really
which
in
of
that
course we're
area
going to be working
where
as fast as we
kept
can
getting such high
in
readings.
any spare moment in time, we're going to be working on that. But,
Did it move at all,
it's
or
not
was it
something
really
that we can do
stationary in one
24/7.
exact spot?
I mean, like I
No.
said, Or only? Well, I mean, we started out in one room and then we walked out to another room.
You have,
it's like college.
let's say you're doing an overnight investigation and you're there for 6 or 7 hours.
The feeling that I got
When you got,
that it was
let's say you've got 4 recorders going,
when I said
that's
someone had
24
told me
hours
it was a
of
bit more
recording
stronger
that you
than
got to go over.
Yeah.
And you're not just
And
listening
see,
to it, you're listening
but
and you might hear
we-
something and then you go back and
we
you listen to
talked.
it again, you listen to it again.
See, when we
It can
started
take
the
you 50 or
investigation,
60
probably,
hours
I don't know,
to analyze 20 to 25 hours
15
worth
minutes
of
into it,
worth of
we had
recordings
the,
if you're
REM pod
quick.
on the stairs.
I mean, I've
he
seen it
just
where
sat
I've
down
gone over
and he walked away and he said, I
you know, a
think he was
3-hour
down the
tape of an
stairs,
investigation, and it's
and all of a
taken
sudden we
me
started
2 days
getting
to do
activity
a
on the
3-hour
pod.
tape. So
And we got a couple of
it
spots,
is exhausting work. It's
on the
way more
internet,
exhausting
but
going over the
it was
evidence than it
easy
is
to
doing the
find
actual
of
investigation.
upstairs.
Yeah, and you know, and you're sitting there looking
I
at a
think
dark
that's
screen,
where
you know, most of the
uh,
time.
dwelling was,
After
that's where it
you've
calmed me out.
done the investigation,
But
review, and
it was
evidence, you're
just
looking at.
the air up
I mean,
there
basically, it's
coming,
a still frame.
including
I mean,
the
if
black
it's an X
mold and
camera,
stuff
you're just
and the
looking,
heat, but the
okay,
just
trying
the
to see if
atmosphere
things
up there
move.
was
Which
heavy. It
looking at
wasn't
those
like
is
the
a lot
evil
easier because you
at
can
all.
focus
It was just,
on one spot
hey, I'm here and
and
I'm, you know,
use
I'm
your
gonna let you know
peripheral
I'm
vision
here,
in the
and it
area
was just
around
like
it to see if anything's moving.
insane.
Which is
Right.
something that I use a lot,
Right.
and
And if
it's
anybody's
done a
done
lot for me.
investigation, then
Because if your eyes are bouncing around the screen, you're
you
going to
walk
miss
into a room
stuff.
and you're like,
So whenever I look at X camera footage, I focus in the center of the screen and I use my peripheral vision to see if I can see anything moving. You know, it would seem like
me and Jessica started
if
out
you're
with,
looking all over
two
the
separate
screen,
rooms on the end of the house.
you're gonna
I was in one room, but I
catch
hadn't
different
been
stuff.
getting
But
anything. I mean,
you know,
nothing.
if an orb pops up in the
and
top
then I
left
walk
and you're
over there
looking
to
over in the
Jessica,
bottom right, you're gonna miss
walk
it.
down the.
Whereas
I mean,
if
I'm
you're
walking
looking in the middle
around
of the
the
screen,
stairs
you're gonna
because
see
there's two
the entire
staircases.
screen.
I'm
You're gonna
walking around the
see,
stairs.
you know,
And
what's
here
in the
this
middle,
room, and
in your
I
immediate
see her
vision,
over there,
and
and
then
I'm just kind of
what's
through
on the outside through your
peeking
peripheral.
through, cracking the door, making
So
sure, you know,
that's actually
I'm trying to
that's
let her
actually
know I'm there,
it's
which
worked
of course
very well for me.
it was pitch black, and she
But
wasn't even.
whereas
She
you're
had the
doing,
camera pointed
you're
in a
actually
different
holding the
direction,
recorder and
so
you're
she
walking
couldn't
around the
see me. But
room.
anyway, I walked
You
on
can't
through,
do that. You've got to
which I didn't
focus
walk
on spots.
lightly
Rewind it,
because
focus on a different
a lot
spot.
of people
Rewind it,
believe that
focus on a
whenever you're
different
doing
spot. And
EVPs,
people do
whenever
it
you're
differently.
doing,
I've done a lot of different methods
recordings
where I
during
just
an
watch it
investigation,
like
you
I'm
want
watching
it quiet.
TV and see if I
No,
can
do not
capture anything
quiet.
or see if I can see
No.
anything.
You want,
And I mean, there's just been so many different methods that I've used.
Yeah,
But
and
you know, for
don't walk like
the best
walk,
way to
you know,
analyze
like
the
you would
entire
normally
video is
walk.
watch
And
15
you know,
seconds,
hey, I'm coming in
look in
one
one
spot.
spot,
Hey, I'm swapping rooms.
rewind it 15
Or
seconds,
you know,
look in
whenever,
another spot.
even whenever I'm doing EVP
I mean,
sessions,
just analyze
if
half
I'm
the
moving,
screen
I'll
at a
say
time
audio contamination
for 15
and I just tag
seconds.
it just like that. I just say audio
And then in 30
contamination.
seconds, you've analyzed
So
the size of the screen and you didn't see.
and whenever I'm viewing the
So
audio
that
waves
actually
on
doubles
Audacity, you can
the time it's going to take
see
you.
the
If
movement in
it's
my
a,
hand where
you know,
it
3-hour video is going to
made
take
the
you
noise.
or
You
6
see
hours
that
to
visually. It's a
do the
small
entire
waveform.
thing. But
You
you know,
see
if you're getting the
the larger
evidence as
waveform
much
of
as you
me
can,
saying,
it's worth it. Because
audio
if you're
contamination.
the thing that really
And, you know,
frustrates us as investigators
It's,
is
I've
doing
kind of
an
gotten to where I
entire
can,
investigation
you know,
and only
whenever you
getting
say
a couple
audio
of orbs.
contamination, you're going to get, you know,
Because
Yeah,
that's
same wave
That's almost
length,
depressing when that kind of
or
thing
let's say
happens.
waveform.
Yeah,
rather, not
and you know, a lot of people don't understand
the
looking
same
at a TV
form,
screen for hours at a
every
time
time
because you're seeing
that
a blank screen,
so I can
or
basically
not
go
a blank
through
screen, but
and
you know, there's
look
nothing going
and
on.
find all those spots
It
where
gets
the
boring really
same
quick. And
waveform
you know,
is throughout
sometimes
the
you just got to take a break from it.
recording,
Otherwise, you're going to miss
and I
stuff.
can just go ahead and
You're going to
remove
start
those
dozing
or
off.
tag those as audio
And you
contamination.
know, it's just not going to be as good of a
That's
turnout.
something that I do.
You
So
know, that's
I'm
really all I've
careful
got to
about,
say
you know,
as
any
far
type
as
of contamination. I'll always
that
tag it.
goes.
Right. Well, that's
You know,
and for anybody
it's just,
listening
it's
that's
something that every
either
investigator needs to
an
do.
investigator, or
Keep in
especially a
mind,
new investigator,
you know,
or
that
somebody that's looking to
it's
get
very
into it.
easy to
What
contaminate
you
evidence.
just gave us
It's
a
very
lot
easy
of
to
incredible
false evidence.
information that people like me who didn't really have anybody.
You know, we did an episode of one of my first
when we were
episodes
coming up
on EVPs.
You
And
just
we
said
went
it
into
to
a
probably
lot
2
of
years worth of
That's a lot
frustration.
of the same stuff you're talking about.
Just, hey,
Don't
Jessica,
just
so
run in there with the
when
recorder
you're,
and
because I know you
record
helped
everything.
do
You
some of
got
the
to
evidence
be very careful.
analysis, things like that.
It's so
With
easy to get
you
false
being able to kind of feel
reads and
things
get
a little bit
false
differently than
EMFs
most
and
other
things like
people,
that. It just gets
how much
should that be taken into account when you're looking for evidence, or does that even play into it at all?
That's like the most
Well,
exciting thing ever.
normally I I mean, like
really
you said
is.
earlier, we're kind of alike.
And I know you guys sent me,
and I'm not meaning
y'all sent me a
sound,
good handful of
I don't mean to
EVPs
sound cocky
a
when I
little
say
while
this,
back,
but
and I had a chance to
there's a
look
lot
at
of
them,
things that I tend
they
to
were fairly impressive.
pay attention more
There was one of
to
them
than he does.
specifically
and as far as,
that I would like to talk to
I guess you would
about.
say I have an eagle eye.
You
Sort of.
had on there as the note
But I'm very
on there.
detailed and very,
It was like the fourth
very
one down.
observant.
And you said
but
it from
mine,
Cherokee, Alabama, and it says help me.
now, you can,
Yes.
to the normal person,
I'm
if
actually
you go,
I'm
you're
actually
going
looking at it right now.
going to a place and,
Yeah.
let's say you have a recorder
Let
or,
me actually listen to
have
that one real quick,
like,
so
here's where I look
it'll
at it.
kind of put me back into that
If you
moment,
have, like,
if you don't
you're
mind.
recording something and you catch what you think might be an orb or something, fly across the screen, or, you have to, like, you can't just say, obviously, you can't just say that's,
Okay,
that
so
was paranormal.
the story behind that one is,
I mean, you have to sit there and, like,
this
look
was
at the
back in
shape of it, the color of
2017.
it, the size of
This
it.
was
That's the way
whenever
it's
I had
moved.
my other two
The
investigators with me.
transparency of
This
it.
was actually
And
captured in their house.
I tend
And
to use a
they
lot
told us
of,
that
like,
they had been experiencing some
my
stuff and had heard some stuff.
intuition as far
So
as
he
it's
actually
something
left his
is,
recorder on his dresser
especially if you
during
have
a
something
football game,
questionable.
an Alabama football
But
game.
I
So
rely
he went, he left
mainly,
the recorder on the dresser recording,
not equipment, but,
and
like,
he
some
shut
of
the
the
door
best
and went into the
equipment
living
that
room
you can
on the other
take
side of the house and
on an
watched the game and came
investigation
back and
or
listened to it.
anywhere is your
And
cell
that
phone.
was one of the first things that
And,
spirit
some
said was
people
help
are
me.
more in tune with their
It was
mind and
really,
their senses and everything and their
I've never
surroundings
heard an
aren't.
EVP.
So it's just mine.
I
I
wouldn't
go
say
with
that's,
what I'm feeling, what I'm
very
sensing.
distinct.
And if there's a
But
piece
I
of
would say that
evidence,
if you
I'm going
can
to sit there
hear
and
it,
listen to it over
if
and
you're
over and
able to
over
hear
again.
it,
And it's like I
it's,
want to pay attention to every
you're gonna
single
hear it say help
detail.
me. And that's,
If
I mean, it
somebody
was really good to hear that,
breathes,
and
if
I've
it's
never
one
actually
of
heard
us,
spirit say
I want
help
to
me
make sure
before, so that was kind of
if it's
chilling.
something, legitimate
I
or
mean,
if
it
it's
was like
something that
weird,
can be
and
debunked.
it was kind
I
of creepy
strictly,
actually.
he'll tell you I go with my feelings.
And
that's, whether it's
since
paranormal or everyday
I actually
life.
want to talk to you about
Have you ever
the
had
rest
any
of these
situations
EVPs as
where,
well, because I mean every
because
one
this
of
is
them
something that's happened to me, where you're
have
going
a
over
good story
evidence
behind them,
and
and that's why I
you're,
sent them to
let's
you.
say it's you and Dalton,
Absolutely.
you're saying, look, I got a really strong feeling in this room. We need to pay attention to this specifically. And there was something there that you wouldn't necessarily caught otherwise. Because I don't have.
Oh yeah.
I had my headphones on.
And here's kind of I'm going to clarify
I didn't
something.
hear help me personally.
There's a little bit of a misconception as far as people being sensitive and stuff and
it sounded
picking
like
up energies or whatever. I mean, most
places like a small child
have
saying
some type of residual energy.
Something like, what are you
whether
doing
it's
here?
a house that was built in the 1800s
And then
to,
get me daddy.
A brand
It
new
was something funky like that.
home that was built in
I'll have to
2016.
listen to it again. I might have
Every
misheard
place
it
has
too,
some
because
type
this
of
is
residual energy,
this
I believe.
was
And,
half asleep listening to it.
When you
Let
go
me know,
somewhere,
because I'm actually interested to find out, because
obviously when you go to an older home
that's one of the things I like about
or
EVP
older
work
place,
is, some people
you're
come up
gonna
with these
go
what they think it says,
a
and
assumption
you
already
can't
of, okay, it's
guarantee
old,
anything with EVPs.
it's,
You just can't.
potentially
I
creepy,
mean,
there's
the
potential activity, so you're gonna go, you're
7
gonna
billion
go
people
in
can
with
say,
a
hey, it says
predetermination
this,
of, okay, I'm going to
but
feel something.
can you really
You
prove
have
it?
to, and some
You
people, most people,
That's just a part of our work.
it's hard to
we're
distinguish
basically going off trust.
that, because like I said,
that's another
you're
thing
going in there and
that
somebody
we
says,
like to have,
well,
not only for
Aunt Jean Johnson's old
in the
house
group,
place is
but
haunted,
also
and
for the fans out
it's
there
scary
that,
over there.
that keep
So
up
you're
to date and
automatically
support
going
us.
to
We
trip
like to
yourself
have that
out and
trust
think,
too.
oh, it's scary.
If you
You're
don't
going to
have
go in
trust,
there
you're not
kind
going to
of
be successful.
cautious, kind of like,
That's just,
on guard a little bit.
I'm being straightforward with you. If you don't have trust, you're not going to be successful.
And it's not like that. I mean, you can have a brand new, like I said, you can have, that house that was built in 2016 to be haunted. And it may not necessarily be the structure, it's the land.
Absolutely.
And that's what I try
That
to,
doesn't mean
like,
that
okay,
that isn't what was said.
I'm gonna break it down, but I'm gonna make it
EVPs are open
short.
to interpretation.
It's
That wasn't
like,
what I heard, but
every place,
what I heard
like I said,
was way creepy.
has some type of energy. And it's just because people have been there before, and it's, if sometimes you're given information about, wherever it is you're at, sometimes you're not. And you just rely on your senses. you rely on all five of your senses.
I would actually
actually,
like
your sixth
to
sense,
hear what they think
which
it says.
is, you know, the
I mean,
spiritual side, your
you know,
spiritual side,
these types of things,
your intellect,
you know,
your
like I said,
intuition.
I just love hearing what people think it says.
I try to
And
differentiate.
then, you know, to have people agree with you on that, and
Okay,
these people
so
are also
let me
like,
go over
that's
here.
amazing.
We're at this house.
And,
Okay, so
you know,
we've been told
I'm going to
numerous
save the
times
best
it's
one for
creepy. Yeah,
last,
it's got the
actually,
creepy
but,
vibe. But the best thing
the
to
next
do
one
is
we
like
had
walk
was,
around. Like, you know, you see them do
through
it. You see a lot of
PSP7 or PSP11.
mediums
It's not
and
an
a lot of,
EVP, it's a
you know,
disembodied voice.
sensitives do it. And
I
that's
just
like you're
turned it
just kind
on,
of getting a
and
feel. It's
not
like
even
every
30
square
seconds.
foot of the house.
Because usually
You just
whenever
kind
I
of walk
start
around, just kind of
a
soak
session,
in
I'll let there be
the
silence.
territory.
Anything comes
You
through,
know,
it comes
soak it
through
in, see
before
what
I say anything.
what do you feel, what
And
do
I believe
you
it was during that 30
sensing,
seconds. It
what
says,
like do you? I mean, do you
you're in
see
trouble.
anything? Because you know, there's some people who can see
And
things.
it sounds
I
like
can't. I
maybe a
can just
middle-aged man.
feel it. But and a lot
I'd
of
say
people,
probably
it's hard.
50,
You know, they're gonna
probably in his
automatically.
mid-50s.
You're gonna go up in there like, well, I feel a negative
And he
spirit.
had like
You
a
know,
real raspy
but that's
voice.
mainly your
It sounded like
fear.
he
You're
was maybe a
letting your
smoker.
fear or your
And that
anxiety
that was
kind
the
of
impression that I
take
got with
over
that
there.
one too.
And
and
so
that was in
it's kind of
Cherokee. That was at the house we
it's kind of
investigated for our
complicated,
previous two investigators.
and you just have to learn how to like pull it apart and be like, okay, so I feel this room is strong. And like the top two rooms in a house is going to be the attic and the basement.
John Doe,
people out
one of our previous investigators,
and
during
which,
the Trinity
you know, there may not even
investigation,
be
our
any
first
activity.
Trinity
It may be like a bedroom or
asked for you
the
to want to make me
kitchen.
feel
And a
fresh
lot
on
of
my
times at
stomach.
home,
And
the kitchen
spirit
is where a
responded
lot
with,
of
"Oh,
activity
yeah."
takes place, especially like demonic,
And,
because
you know,
I don't know
that
what
was,
it is about them demons.
that was pretty
and
creepy to
them
hear.
cabinets,
I mean, it was
but
just like, oh yeah.
they love going there and
I mean,
opening
it
cabinets
was.
up like.
Are you the one making me feel pressure in my stomach?
Something that's always amazed me. Because I mean, you don't go in your bedroom, your dresser drawers are open.
Are you the one making me feel pressure in my stomach?
Clothes is all on the floor. It's always a kitchen.
I noticed that too. That for some reason kitchens seem to be the center point of activity in a lot of haunting cases. And I don't know if it's because the kitchen is kind of the heart of the house to begin with, or if it's just there's a lot of stuff to mess with in there.
I mean, EVPs, you know, on their own are creepy.
I know if I,
and then,
if I ever become a spirit
also,
and I go haunt somewhere, I'm gonna be getting the kitchen up because I don't. Like I said, we don't know
it was the EVP
what
that
it's like
said, "Say
dead,
something."
but
And I
in real
did
life,
a subtitle that
eat
said
like a
Trinity,
pig
Alabama,
anyway,
and
so
I'm wrong about that. That was
I'm
actually
probably
also
gonna be
in
raiding somebody's
Cherokee,
refrigerator,
and that was also
back
on
doors,
recording.
whatever. I'm not even gonna lie. I'll probably be up in your house eating your Oreos and
was recorded
drinking
during
your
the
beer.
football game
I mean,
that our previous
you know what I'm
investigator
saying?
had set up.
Oh my Lord!
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, and you're right. It is, and I don't get it. Like, what's so special about the kitchen? I mean, food. That's number one.
And,
but
you know,
in
that
all
one,
seriousness,
that
it
one's
does
pretty
seem
cool.
to be that way.
Which
and
that one would be
because
more
you don't
open
ever
to
hear of like
interpretation.
really in living
Probably,
room or the bedroom. It's just the
Class
kitchen
B or Class
and
C EVP.
more or less either the
Yeah,
kitchen or the
that
basement.
wasn't super
But like I
clear.
said,
You could
basements and attics are
definitely
going to freak people
tell
out
something was there.
anyway.
And the
And
thing is,
because it's like, oh, it's
folks that
creepy,
don't
dark,
analyze EVPs
tight
might not
space.
know this,
Oh my
but
gosh.
when you're doing your analysis on it, I also wonder if it has to do with the amount of metal and water in the hear something. Because you see or another one that are really big hot spots a lot of times.
Yes.
I was actually
this
just
is
thinking that
different because nobody's
the water,
talking to them. What
because
is this sound?
water can conduct electricity, and spirits use
so
electricity like
necessarily pick up
crackheads use crack.
but
That's where they get their energy from.
You can
that's how
there's a rhythm,
mostly
but that one
how
is
they
not
get
as clear. But you can
their
still
run
tell
and go.
there's a rhythm of speech in there.
You're right. I didn't even think about that, and especially.
Whenever we
and
get
also,
a Class
the
B
colder
or Class
months
A,
with
that's
the
really
electricity
exciting.
being more predominant
Now,
in the air.
the two that says
and,
pray to God.
everything.
If I'm not mistaken, both of those,
and I've always wanted to be like,
or if I'm not mistaken, one of them's Class B and
I'm
the
kind
other
of
one's Class
comedic,
A.
so I don't poke
That's
fun at
exactly
it.
what I was thinking. Was that one? But it's, you know what? That's a good attitude to have. It's kind of a comedic attitude when you're doing investigation, because everybody can get very, very serious, and it is a very serious topic, and all of us take it very, very seriously. But you got to have a light heart about the whole thing too. Because things are going to happen. You're going to have somebody, bump into you when they didn't announce that they were in the room, and you're both going to freak out. probably
that
wet your pants
was,
and you just had to give the
it was pretty
that
chilling
later
to
on.
get one. But
Yeah,
since
and
you
it's
get two
and
at
also
two separate
too,
locations with two different voices saying the
which
exact same thing,
I'm
that was
27,
freaky.
so I'm
Uh,
Dalton's he's
but
18, so
That's
still
I
teaches
mean,
him a little
again,
bit,
I'm getting goosebumps.
Look,
You
I'm just
you're
kidding.
just talking
I'm
about that
joking, but
because
him. But no,
I've
it's like I
I've
said,
had something kind
I'm
of similar
very
to that happen,
outspoken.
but
I'm very
nothing that
blunt. I'm very
specific.
just
I had once
carefree,
where I got a
and
Class A
but when it comes
EVP
to
that
talking to
literally
whoever,
said, "I'll
talking to
snap
whoever
your
it may
neck,
be
you
that's
bastard."
got the
And just like if somebody was
kids
standing
like activity
beside
going
me,
on in the home,
the best
or
thing you can
even
remember
when we
captured
step
me.
foot into the home
And
and
then
actual investigation
20
is going
minutes or
on,
so later,
I
we caught an
put all jokes
EVP
aside and
that
I focus because
that the
I don't
same
want these
voice
spirits to
said,
come
"Is he
when we
gone
come
yet?"
into these places. I don't want them
So it
to
was like they were
feel
trying to scare us
offended
off.
or
yeah.
To have
like,
the same where you
well,
had
I'm
to
just
say
making fun of
that
them because they're
phrase
dead,
repeated
and
twice.
this
That's
is all they
incredible.
can do is knock a coffee cup in the floor
And,
or
these,
say a voice here and
these two
there.
investigations,
It's
if I'm
like
not
they don't.
mistaken, are 40 miles
They're trying to
apart.
channel it, and it's it's like
I
I
mean,
know
one's
when
in
to be serious,
Trinity,
and
and
it's like
then,
I want to go into these places and let
the
them
other
know,
one is
hey,
in
I'm not here to
Lawrence.
make fun of you. I said,
So
y'all may
that's about
watch
40 or
me
45 miles difference,
daily or you
in
see,
between
but
those.
when the investigation comes on,
But,
like I want,
that was pretty
I want
cool.
to give y'all a
And
chance
then
to
the
be
last
heard. I
EVP
want,
that I really want to go
whatever it
over,
is, the reason why you're
which is,
inhabiting this
I'm saving the
place,
best for
why you're
last,
doing what you're doing, because as Dalton said
is
earlier,
this one right here.
they used to be human. They used to feel. They used to have emotions, just like we did. Hurt, laugh, happiness, anger, sadness. And
Now,
I don't want to belittle
I
them just
originally
because they
thought
don't have a
that
physical form anymore.
it said,
And if you
"My mama loves you."
if you had the philosophy
Now,
that
of course, I'm sure
spirits
you went
or
through these in
entities
order, so you heard the
are
best one
people who have
first.
passed on,
Right.
then
So
you're as much a guest in
I'm
their
kind of
space
curious,
as you
without,
are the
I don't
people
know if
who
you remember
physically
what it
reside
said, or
there.
if you remember,
Exactly.
You don't want to be rude to
what I thought
them.
it said, but
Right.
what
And
do
it's
you
kind of,
think
and I
it
don't want to
says?
say this, but kind of in reality, if you just want to, look at it from this angle, it is, you do have to kind of go in there with a,
I'm hearing
some type of manipulation.
get out of my
And when I say
home
manipulation,
or I'll kill you.
you go in
Or
there
something
and, these
similar
people,
to that.
okay,
Definitely
the
get out of my
spirits,
home,
the
and
people
then
who
you
have
hear
passed
like a
on.
clack,
Not
and
talking about
then
demons, because demons,
something
that's a
else
whole different
garbled.
ballgame. But like
The
just a
get out
general
of my
spirit,
home is definitely the
don't know
clearest
you,
part of
Jack
that.
Adam, just like you
Yep,
said.
and I'm
You come
glad you
in,
caught
you
that,
gain their trust,
because
and if you can gain their
it
trust,
was,
you're more
"Get out
than
of my house
likely
or I'll kill
going
you."
to get
Now, I did
more
hear the clack,
evidence
and that was
and
one of the
better
first things I
evidence.
noticed.
And
And
it's
it
because
sounds like,
they,
if I'm trying to put
like I
this
said, they don't
into
know. I mean, I don't know what it's like to
dramatic,
be a spirit. I mean,
I don't know. I don't even know
part
what
of me,
word
I'm
I'm trying
curious
to
to know. I mean, I
say.
don't want to die anytime soon, but
If I'm trying to put this
I've
in
always
form
been
as, it's being
drawn to
played
that
out
aspect
of
of life.
dramatization,
Death fascinates
I
me.
guess that's how you
What
pronounce
happens
that.
to our soul fascinates me.
It's saying, "Get out of my
How does
house,"
a
and then it's
spirit
like they're
become
beating
trapped
on the
here?
table, "Or I'll
That
kill you."
has always, and that's where my deep
It's like they're pissed.
Right, no, I can
me,
see that in my head for sure.
thinking comes in, because I'm
And,
Sagittarius, and so we're knowledge
but I mean, to
seekers.
begin with, like
And
what I
it's
said,
just, you have to break it down. Like
was, "My mama loves you."
you literally have to be like, okay,
Those are
these are God's
two
people, and you
completely
have to
different
treat
ends of
them
the
like
spectrum.
people.
I mean,
And
Yeah, that's two
I've been,
completely
before I
non-related
joined the group,
things that it could.
I used to
I mean,
do my own
there's
little,
not a
investigations
single
for fun. I mean,
degree
I
that
didn't have
those
all
are
the
related
fancy
in
evidence.
any
I just
way.
had a
I
digital
mean,
camera on my phone.
I will tell you the
And the reason
tone
I
of
didn't
the
have some
voice
equipment is because I didn't
definitely
know
sounds
how
more
easily attainable it was. Like, I
malicious
didn't
or
study that
angry
side. I
to
was
me
so focused on
yeah,
than a
the spiritual
welcoming,
side, not the physical side of,
here's a
the
little message
equipment. Where
about
can I
mama.
get it?
yeah.
And nor did I even
See,
try to ever seek
and I agree with you there.
anybody else out
But
with the
before
same
I actually
interest
downloaded it
that
onto
I
my
had.
computer and
So,
listened to
I
it,
would
I was
go
listening to it
and,
on my EVP
just with
recorder.
my phone
And
and
see,
my
it sounded
camera
like a small
alone,
child.
I have caught
And it was like,
some
"My mama loves
pretty
you."
cool little
But
pieces of evidence.
It sounded like
Oh,
it's amazing the kind of stuff you can
it
catch with
did.
just the most
And,
basic equipment.
oh
I mean,
yeah.
when I started off,
I could probably, I don't know
I know you
I don't know
guys
if it
use a
can
lot
change
of
the way it
equipment.
sounds or not.
When I
Being that
started
it was
off, I
downloaded to
had
Audacity,
a
I could
reel-to-reel
try
tape
to put
recorder
it back onto
and
my recorder so it sounds the same
little
way.
camera,
I don't know
not
if
a
it will or
digital
not,
camera,
but I
just a
thought that
regular
was kind of
camera.
weird
And
because
that was
I listened to it on my
my
recorder
equipment. That was
and I
my
was in
fancy
complete silence.
equipment.
And there was
But I caught
nothing
quite a
around me,
bit of
nothing noise.
it's using that stuff.
It sounded like a little
Yeah,
girl,
and
probably,
it's
6 or
you
7,
know
saying that. And
I'm
then,
gonna say this before I lose it
I
because that's what I
listened
was
to it on the
thinking. But
computer, and it's
when
like, evil.
Back to the other little subject about,
Did you
when you
adjust the
go,
speed on it at all, or
when you go on these
did you adjust like
investigations,
that?
and, it
I did
really,
not
I
adjust
hope
the
you don't
speed
mind
on
me
it.
using this
The
cuss
only
word, but
thing
it
I
really
did
pisses
was
me off
remove the background
to
noise.
no degree, and I
And,
have been with
you know,
people, and,
I've
I'd say, look,
to begin with, I
we're going to
didn't
go
really want to
to this
remove
location,
background
and,
noise
I want to be serious about it.
because whenever
Well,
you're doing EVP work,
I've been with
you've
people,
got to be
and
very
they're
careful with
over
what
there
you
making fun of it, and I can
do. I mean,
understand
that's
you're
just like I had
skeptic,
EVPs, I
whatever,
think,
but
too, on my Facebook
please,
page where
just for a
you
little
can
bit, be
hear the white
respectful.
noise in the background,
Be respectful
the
of these people who've
quietness,
passed on,
the sound,
because I want to show
nothing,
them that
if you
I'm
will.
here and I care, and
And
I
then
want,
you
make
hear
their
it
voice heard,
pretty
just
loud,
as
and then
in
it
real life.
just
And
goes down to
it
almost
just, when
nothing.
somebody doesn't take it
And that's the
seriously,
point
or
to
when
where
they
I
make a joke
removed
about
that
it,
background noise.
and
And
on an
people, which
investigation,
I've never
you can
had
joke about it all
anybody
day
say, well,
long
that's just
around me, I don't
two
care.
recordings
But if
connected to
I'm
each other,
there
two
and
different
you're
ones.
there, I'm going to
So
call
I've
you
never
out,
had anybody
because
actually say that to me,
you're going
but,
to screw up what we're trying to
personally, whenever
do.
I listen
You're
to it,
going
I'm
to
like,
piss them
dang,
off,
somebody's going to think that I did
and
that.
it could
But,
potentially unleash something
even though I
malevolent,
didn't, it's just
because
like, well, you got to be
spirits, like
really
I said, they
careful
feed
about
off
that, because I don't want anybody to
emotions.
think that I'm faking stuff,
And,
because, I'm
if you
not.
come in there with
I mean,
positive attitude,
it's
peace,
a pretty
welcoming, all
feeling,
that,
and it's never
you're
happened
likely
to
to get
me
better
personally,
results.
but I do know that
And
some
that's where
people
I,
that were getting real
Dalton take
evidence,
that.
but they just weren't editing
I
it
just say what's
correctly,
on my mind.
and
And
it
I'm
made
just
it
not
look
going to
like
put
they
up
were
with it,
faking it.
because
And,
that used to
it was
be
just,
a human.
they were
That
doing
used to be
everything
somebody that
right
had a physical
besides the
body
evidence
and a mind and
editing it.
emotions. And I wouldn't want
And
somebody
you
doing that to
don't
me,
to go out there
if I pass,
and
whatever
do all
happens
this
to me after
crazy
I die.
editing and
And it's just,
adding,
it's just one thing that,
all these different sound
because,
effects. You want to keep
Dalton
it
said
as
he wants
basic
to
as
help people.
possible.
I'm
I
all about
mean,
helping
as
people
far
too.
as
I'm
amplifying it, yeah, you
actually
can
even
do
trying to
that.
get a career in
Removing
law
back
enforcement
yeah, you can do
started,
that. But I
and
mean,
it's the
adding
same aspect too. Is
sound
a lot of
effects
people
in
forget.
there,
Yeah, we want to help the homeowners,
don't do
but
it.
don't
Don't
forget
do
about
it.
the spirits,
I mean,
because the spirits are there for a
When I
reason.
presented
They're doing
EVP
this for
evidence,
a
I
reason.
always
So
presented this is
we've
the
got to help
raw
them
sound
too.
file, and
And
then this is the cleaned
I'm
up version.
that's one thing I'm
You
just
know what I
very
mean?
passionate about.
I always
And
presented them both back to back. But I
back
actually
to
had a guy
the
once that
power folk equipment, the
was
phone, the
he
camera.
was trying to get me to
Probably one of the
put
coolest
on some
pictures
of
I
his
ever caught
EVPs, which I
on my
love.
camera.
EVPs are probably my
Digital
favorite
camera.
thing,
Those little
especially on a
Kodak.
show like this.
I
It's
don't even
all
remember.
audio. I
But
love EVPs.
there's a
But
cemetery over here where I
sent
live.
them to
I'm
me,
actually
and
from
he had added
Alabama.
in spooky
Probably
music
nobody's
in the
ever heard of it.
background
I would think
for
we've
some
been in the
reason.
news,
And I'm
like
like, dude, this
the
is
national news
unusable. You can't.
class.
No,
But
I'm
anyway,
sorry.
there's a cemetery
I
over
hate
here,
to shoot him down
and
like that, but
we have
you know,
gotten
why would you
every
do
time I
that? Why would
go,
you
just
edit
about
in
I get
something
some
like
type
that?
of activity. And
yeah,
Dalton
and
went
you
with
do
me
that,
one
and
day
that's just going to ruin
because
the
I
purpose
wanted to
of good
go.
EVP.
That since we had
Exactly.
actual equipment,
it's
I
just
wanted
like
to go
that
investigate it.
EVP had
So
potential,
I took
but
him that day, and it was
basically you just
about
ran it
6:30
over
in
with
the
an
afternoon,
18-wheeler by putting
and we got some
sound effects in
pretty
there.
cool
Why
stuff
do
with
that?
REM
Keep
pod
it as
and the
basic as
EMF
possible.
detector. But
And that's a
anyway,
really good tip for
so
anybody starting out.
I would go,
And,
and we'd always make it
just like you said earlier,
tradition
you
on
didn't have
Halloween.
anybody
We'd go
to mentor
ghost
you,
hunting.
and
We'd
neither
go to
did
little
I.
local scary
I
places around here.
mean,
And I'd always bring my camera.
everybody
Well,
thinks their way is the best way,
cemetery I'm talking about is
after
nicknamed Devil's
looking through all
Cemetery.
these other
And
different ways to start a team,
it's
I'm not being cocky
quite
or
a freaky
anything, but I am
place,
saying I do
and
feel like my way
there's
is,
nothing but straight
a
up
pretty good
negativity
way
there.
to start
The
out. I'm
feeling,
not
the
saying it's
energy,
the best,
the whole
but I
everything is
know
just
it's definitely
negative.
not the worst,
And
and I know it is good.
we were out there, the whole
But
big group
it's
of us.
just
I don't know,
take a
15,
little bit
20
of
of
this
us,
advice I'm giving you.
and
I mean,
I was
if you don't
snapping
take any
pictures.
of it, I mean, just
And my buddy
take
had
a little
a
bit of it, and if it's
Chevy,
not working out for
little
you, I
Chevy
mean,
pickup, and he
you don't
walked
have
over
to
there to his driver's
listen to me
side, and I
anymore.
snapped a
I
picture.
mean, just give it a shot
And I
because it
I
worked
snapped
for
like,
me.
I think 2 or 3
And
pictures back to
I'm
back.
giving out advice all the time.
And
People
I
message
went
me
back
on my
to
personal
review it,
page saying, "How
and
did
there
you
was a
start up
man
your team?" And
sitting
I'll go
in
into
his driver's
detail. I'll
seat.
tell them, "Hey,
Now, this was
well,
so,
I mean,
the image of this man
you
was
just gotta
so
find
clear.
somebody interested in it. I mean,
You could tell he had on glasses.
don't
You could
post,
tell he had on it would
job
have have been like a
on
beigey,
Indeed or
off
whatever,
white
because
button-up
that's
shirt.
not a job, it's a hobby. Okay.
He
Now,
even
you
had a
can put it
comb
on
over,
Facebook and
and
go,
it was
hey, I'm
on,
looking for
if you were
some
looking at him,
paranormal
his comb over
investigators.
would have
Anybody
been on
wants to
his
go in
left
there?
side, so
Yeah,
it was just
you
going
do
toward
that.
the right.
And you'll
And he was
get
sitting there, and he
all
had
kinds
the
of
most
responses from people. They might not necessarily be the person you want to
creepy,
investigate with, but you'll get
eerie-looking
all kinds of
expression on
responses.
his face.
Yeah,
And what was
and,
weird
you
is when the
can
flash
even
went
type
off,
up a little
his
questionnaire for them,
glasses
you know.
caught
I mean,
the
that's
gleam
how I
of the
started.
flash, so I
I mean,
couldn't see his eyes. I could just see his mouth.
I mean,
And he looked like he may have
but
been, I don't know,
before you can do that, you really need to
early
start a
60s,
Facebook page and get you at
and
least
probably
3
weighed
to
100,
500 likes.
150 pounds. I mean, he was a very
And
thin
some
man.
people think that,
And I told my buddy, I said,
that's
hey,
difficult to do.
I freaked
which
out.
really it's
Honestly, that was
not.
like one of the best pieces of evidence
And
I've
you
ever
know,
caught.
you got to spend money
I'm like,
to
Bo,
well,
my nickname,
the
buddy's
original
nickname's
saying
Bo.
you got to
I'm
spend
like,
money to make money, but really, I'm
Bo,
spending
come
money
here.
to get more
There's somebody in your truck.
investigations.
He's like, what are
And
you
you can
talking about? I
actually
was just
boost
over there. I
the
was like,
post
look,
and reach
dude,
people
I
that you
got
wouldn't
this
have reached
guy
before.
sitting in your truck.
You
Sure
know,
enough,
from a
he's
target
sitting there and
area
he's
or a
just
target
staring at me.
audience, and you know
And
that gives
I'll
people,
never forget that
you know, they're
image
like,
in
oh,
my
that's
head.
pretty
And
cool.
I've got
And
that
it'll
picture
actually pop up
somewhere,
in
but
your
I don't.
newsfeed
It's on a memory card.
for the area that you boosted.
Wow.
But it's
So
just,
you can do
and
that. You can connect with
several
more
people have
people
seen
and,
it, and it's,
you
you
know,
know, and I'm the kind of
get some
person,
more investigations
you know,
out of
I
it.
try to
So
always
really,
back
you're
up what I
paying
say,
for an
and because
investigation.
I try to be as
But
honest
you know,
and as
if you're
straightforward
trying
and
to get
legitimate as I
likes
can,
and you know get out
and
there, it's worth it.
if I can find that picture,
Because
I
I've
don't
boosted
know,
several
I
posts.
kind
I
of have an
boosted about
idea of
2,
what a
and
memory
boosted
card
the
is.
page 1 or
I
2
will send
times.
it to you
And
because
Yes,
I'm
please.
about
Send that to
1
us.
to
We'd
200
love to see
likes,
that here.
200 likes
That
max.
sounds incredible.
Off of
But there,
you know
for
boosting
to
the
clarify,
page
there was
and
definitely
boosting the
nobody in
post.
his truck physically,
You
right?
know,
nope. And he,
you'll get
if I
likes here
could,
and
if he
there
was
and
here
some
with me, if I
comments.
could, you know, add him to a
But
phone call, I
don't
would. I mean,
let
he would tell you
people
that there was
get you down.
nobody.
Don't let them rub
He
your
went
face
over
in the
there to
dirt.
get,
You know, there's so
cause
many people that are
he's a
completely
redneck,
against
so
what
he
you're
went over there to
doing
get his
and
can
that
of
you know,
dip.
don't want anything
And
to do with it and want nothing
it's,
more than to just pick at you for it. But don't let that discourage you, because if you feel like you're doing it right,
I love
or if
that.
you feel like you're doing
It's just
something right
perfect.
and you enjoy
he
it,
is,
stick
he's a
with it.
redneck. He's actually on our team, actually.
Absolutely.
It's not set
I
in
think that's
stone
probably
yet,
the
but we're
best
still
advice
trying to
you
get
could give
some things
somebody
worked out. But
is just stick to it.
I also forgot
Absolutely.
I caught an
And
orb.
you know, like
It
I
was
said
like a
earlier,
golden
make sure this is something you want to do before you
orangey
spend thousands of dollars on
color
equipment,
orb
because you're not
above
going to
his
get that money
head.
back.
Because
You're not going to
actually,
get
it's
nowhere near
funny.
that money back.
He had the door
I
open,
mean,
and in the
you
picture,
buy a
the van is sitting in
PSP7
the
for
driver's
a
seat, and he is
PSP7
standing
sells
outside
for
the truck.
right around $80.
I can't
You're
remember if
probably
he's
going to get
looking
$30
down
to
or looking
$40
into the
max.
truck. But there was that orb above his head, and
Oh,
it was
yeah,
a big orb too.
yeah.
And I was
That
like,
would be on a,
he
that'd be
didn't
on a
get.
really
He's
good
like,
day.
you drive my truck home,
Yeah,
and I'm not getting back in it. I
you
said,
got to think there's
I
not
got
that
my
big
car
of a
to
market
drive.
for this kind of stuff.
Your
I
ass is
mean,
getting back in that truck.
sure, you can find people
Don't
out
be
there that
scared.
want it, but
You better get in that
I
truck.
mean, you've
And
got to
Don't
look
be
in the right
scared.
places if you're going to
yeah,
sell
don't
it.
be
I
scared,
mean,
boy.
you post it
You'll make
on,
it.
you know,
Anyway.
Wish or not
Oh,
Wish,
man.
but Let
But
Go
yeah.
or whatever. People are like, what is that?
That's the kind of
What is
experience
that?
that you
Is that a calculator?
you know
Is that a
can't really put that kind
calculator
of stuff on
for
your
an antenna?
resume,
They're not
but
gonna
boy,
know.
it makes for a great story.
And
It
No,
does. And
most
and
of the time,
you know, it's just
if you
that's
could
probably
post
one
it
of the best.
on like a paranormal group or something
Well, that
like
is the best
that'd be
picture
your
I've
best
caught.
case
But
scenario. But most
you
of
know,
them won't let you
one of the coolest
advertise
things is
stuff like
yeah,
that on there.
you know seeing
I
that
was actually just about to say
thing
something about
move,
that.
that
Now, there are
highlighter
some that will. There are
move
some
off the wall by itself,
specifically
and then
for selling paranormal equipment.
actually this happened last year. We was
And
at the same
people
cemetery,
that sell paranormal equipment
and
be very
I actually
cautious
have
of them
kinfolk
because they will
buried
cheat you out
there,
of money. And I hate
and
to say that, but it is
I
true.
knew that years ago,
It's
but
never
I'd
happened to
forgotten.
me,
And I
but
don't know, I
you know,
always
I do
get
know some
affected when I
people
go
that
up there.
they sent
And
$500 to get
always. And I
an
don't know if
SLS
it's
camera
just
made
because
from an
my
Xbox
kinfolk, I don't know.
360,
But I
next
hate those
camera
places, but I
and the
still love going
laptop
back because I get
and the
active.
grip
And
and the
but
software.
me and three of my
$500 or
buddies,
$600,
same
and they
redneck
never
guy,
got
both.
their SLS camera. But
We
you
went
got to be very
up there
careful
one night,
with
and you
that
know
kind of thing.
we were just sitting there, and I was like,
Yep.
I
Good
wasn't
advice,
filming,
sir.
I wasn't taking pictures,
So
nothing.
what do you guys have coming
I
up?
had my
What are
windows
your
down,
next investigations
and I wanted to
that
take
y'all
it
have
around
on the board
midnight.
right now?
And it was
Well, I'm
3
going to
quarter
turn that
moon
over to
that night.
Jessica and let her tell
And
you a little bit
I
about
was
an
sitting there,
investigation that
and
she's actually
you know,
setting
they were
up.
kind of laughing and talking.
Okay.
I'm like, y'all shut up for a minute. Well, so I'm sitting there, and I stick my head out the window, and I say, hello. I'm not going to name any names, but I've got a friend who... Nothing yet. I said, you know, is there anybody there? You know, your typical talk. Excuse me. Talking to him. In a place called... Well, after, I don't know, the fifth hello, County, Alabama. I got a response back. And I got we physically heard it with our ears. And it was, we started talking. The best way I can describe it was, it was the voice of an elderly man that sounded like he had the accent, the southern, the old southern accent from like the late 1800s. You know, that Civil War accent. Kind of Annabella style.
Yeah, it's a soft Southern accent.
Yes, like I do declare, that accent. Well,
Right.
The response was, after I said hello, it was like,
your typical
hello, like that, and it,
still,
like, I just got
so
instant,
historic looking anyway.
instant goosebumps, but I wasn't like scared. And something just told me, and like I still feel it today, that he was laughing at us, that he thought us being there was funny, and so I feel like he said it, hello, you know, to be extra creepy sounding. I feel like he did it on purpose, and I mean that's literally like
I've never been there. Just hearing that, just hearing you talk about it.
Yeah, it was like he was just like from everything he told me. It was maybe it sounded like he was 10, 15 feet away from my car. And
he said that the doors move. He's
holy
physically
crap!
things.
I just got a response, and I actually heard it with my own 2 ears. And then everybody else did. Well, they got freaked out. They was like, "Let's go, Jessica, let's go." I'm like, "No, no, y'all wanted to go ghost hunting, so we don't do it."
No, it just got interesting. Why are we leaving now?
Exactly. Because y'all heard hello from somebody you can't see. And it was like, well, hell yeah, let's go. I don't know what that thing looks like.
I don't know why.
And I was like, fine. So,
I don't know.
And y'all may think I'm goofy for doing this, but I actually apologized to the spirit. I said, well, I know we were just making conversation, but my buddy's a little freaked out, and we're gonna leave now before they have a heart attack.
You ain't gotta worry about nothing.
And because I really can't afford the trip to the ER, so. And
so we would have
I don't know.
to get
That was the only.
We would have to get permission.
That was the only positive.
Really
it's
badass.
weird.
We
the only positive experience that I had up there was that voice, but everything else has been kind of neutral or somewhat negative. And
right.
I mean,
but that's why I have that feeling that he was just being funny, and he was just just
questions or
lonely old
whatever,
man soul, just.
We were actually
that's a nice thought to have though, that if again if these are spirits of folks who have passed on, that we retain that sense of humor that in the afterlife, that it's not just moaning around and moving stuff, that you actually can laugh a little bit.
Yeah. And that's and that's what I try to be. Like I still try to connect with them on a personal level, and that's why I go like I don't go into these places with my guard completely down, because you just creepy. You could have somebody says, "Oh, we've got the spirit of a little girl, and she's very playful." Well, what they don't know is that could also be a demon in disguise.
Yeah. That anytime somebody says something like that to me, every red flag I got comes up.
Yeah, and so that's why you want to be careful, and obviously, study and interrogate the crap out of them and find out every single thing that happens in the area. And that's why, I'll say this, and then I'm gonna let Dalton have the floor. But
let me do this.
This is another.
So yeah, it's like
okay. Here's a little bit of advice.
A lot of moving parts to it. I mean, because
to someone who is kind of thinking, well, I kind of can relate to her, as far as like feeling stuff and sensing things.
So much has to
go in there. Don't let your guard down.
Smoothly, because
as soon as you feel.
Would that be probably y'all's biggest investigation to date?
For the example, if someone says, we've got the spirit of a little girl, she makes sure, she appears every now and then, and, she'll, whatever.
That we had, that we were supposed
what
to
I
have weekend,
want to tell people is, if you go, if you go on an investigation and you go somewhere like that,
and so that would have been
first
the most
minute, second, or whatever that you feel any type of negative energy, feeling,
and the
thoughts, you better drink, you better you better close, you better put that guard up, because
people about it.
Not many people can feel that, because obviously the homeowners, they're just.
I don't even.
But a spirit is going to allow you to feel what they want you to feel. A demon is going to,
because
because they're 20 times more powerful than a human spirit. So it's like the minute that you feel that negative energy, that's when you need to say, okay, I'm not saying it's demonic, but we need to kind of look at this at another angle. Don't just go in there solely relying on what they tell you. Trust your gut. If you go in and you, like I said, you feel that negative energy, put your guard up, protect yourself, because you are number one. Because if you get attacked, then you can't continue with the investigation, and then you're screwed, because you may have, potential
now here's the thing.
spiritual attachment of some sort that may be evil.
Skeptic and going
Absolutely.
you just
To
know
tell folks
it's just a
that
feeling, vibe.
when I would go in, I equate it to I have a window open. And I can sense the stuff through this window, but I got my hands on the windowsill the whole time. And if something doesn't feel right, I slam that window shut hard. Because I got to protect myself.
Exactly.
Because
There was
actually,
and it's just the same concept as, if you don't have healthy doctors, healthy police officers, first responders, EMTs, nurses, then who's going to help you? You know what I'm saying? It's that same kind of concept. It's you have to protect yourself.
I don't know.
Honestly,
It just seems like
we're trying to help people. We're trying to help, if there's good spirits trapped there or whatever. But ultimately, it does fall back on you. You have to be somewhat selfish in these investigations and protect yourself.
And it's not like,
there's a lot of, I know that there's
it was something that
a lot of up and
it wasn't
coming
our idea, it was their idea.
investigators and people
y'all
getting
get
into the
chance here,
paranormal.
y'all should come
That's the
investigate
best thing I can tell you. Don't let your guard down. Go in with an open mind. Don't go in with a predetermination of, okay,
Well, and I mean, I pretty much
this
put it
is
to him like this.
whatever.
You know what?
Keep an
I
open
said,
mind,
"You go
but yet keep your guard
And
up.
I'm
And it's
totally
kind of
right.
hard.
Look,
That's something,
this is
I mean,
one
it's
investigation that I wanna go
complicated
do.
to be
And
able to have
what
that,
you talking
both
about,
of those mind
like,
frames,
we're
mindsets
going.
at the same time. And that's
I
just
don't know,
something you've
it's
got to
just
work
weird. I
on.
just
You
feel
have
so
to
drawn
just,
to it.
get in tune with
that
yourself and
says a
just
lot to
trust
me
your gut.
because,
Now, I'm
you know,
not saying nobody's
typically,
perfect. Your
you
gut's
don't
not perfect
get-
all the time.
I'm trying to
But
see how to
your
word that.
gut, your intuition is
Sometimes
there for a
you
reason.
don't get as
That
drawn
is your
to an
subconscious
investigation
way of
as you do
protecting
another one. And
yourself.
this one, I mean, just
Yep.
everything. Like,
Foreseeing things that
I don't know. I just feel like
that might, something bad might happen, or
So if I have
Well, that's what disturbs me, and I like most other people, I love the haunting shows, the ghost adventures, and ghost hunters, things like that. I love those shows. The thing that bothers me is how aggressive a lot of times they are, and how inviting they are to be personally attacked. And I'm just thinking, that's the problem is if you want to do that to yourself, that's fine. But, and you guys are an example of this, there's a lot of folks coming up in the paranormal community now that are wanting to be investigators specifically because they see these shows and they see that, that this is something that can actually be done, that you can actually go out and capture evidence. But they're using those shows as the example of this is how you do that. And it's not always the best way to handle it, in my opinion. Other people have different opinions, but I don't like being really super aggressive, and I definitely don't like inviting something to jump on me or attack me. And if it happens, it happens, but I don't ever invite it in.
Exactly. And when I was younger, like when I first got my driver's license and stuff, and I was going places, I didn't necessarily I did kind of mainly rely on, the stuff that I saw on TV, which, I mean,
somebody's got to go in there and show it that they're not
that's
afraid of
TV,
it,
and they've got to do some things to make a TV show. They've got to keep ratings. I mean, that's understandable. And,
I mean, they have no
you
place
know,
on this earth.
a lot of the stuff on there is authentic, but it's kind of like
people
you
mentally and
can't
physically like
rely on
because
that
people don't
okay, like
demons
Zach
are
Bagans.
powerful.
I hope you don't hear this, by the way. I'm a fan, but dude, you were so dramatic. I'm telling you right now, like,
and Dalton
Jones
talk to the guy.
you can hear a mouse fart, and it'd be like,
respect,
Harry, did you hear that? Go in that dark
him.
crawl face. Like, I'm too pretty to go in there. And I'm like,
I feel
dude, you have muscles on top of muscles, and yet you're scared of a little
as far
noise.
as his personal
And he
experiences.
sends Aaron or Billy or Jay in there. Like,
I haven't known him all that long.
And
the feeling I get.
I like Zach. I like Zach on a personal level. My daughter's got a huge crush on him. Has since she was 3 years old. I like what he does. I like him personally. I think that he definitely brings a lot of attention to the world of the paranormal. But yeah, he just, dude, why are you always sending Aaron in there? Go in there yourself. You don't know until you get down there.
He's so dramatic. And
exactly.
Growing up when they first got started, in the mid 2000s, and I was sitting there watching, and of course I had a crush on him, and I still do. He is a nice looking guy, but
dominant.
It's like he kills the show for me now because he's so, like, he'll be so dramatic, and it's like, yeah, he'll take it seriously, and then, but he's kind of,
I don't really think it's.
I'm not calling him out, but it's kind of, you're sending, like you just said, you're sending the wrong idea to these, you know,
I can't remember
people
if he told me they've heard
just getting into this, and,
but,
like, you know, busting up the house. Okay, demons, where you at? Come attack me. You know, where you at, Zozo? Where you at? Come get me. Where you at?
A spirit,
you know, you don't
like,
need to do that. That could be kind of different.
You know,
You don't need to do that.
It's a combination of all the things. If Zach is listening to this, and I hope he is,
Hey, Zach. Exactly.
give me a call, Zach, and we'll discuss it.
I can't remember.
Jesse, if you want me to, I'll put Zach in touch with you, and you and him can.
Yeah, do that. Yeah,
3.
because I'll be like,
Not
dude,
4 stories,
look,
like 2 or 3
I'm a
stories.
female. I'm 5'3",
And, it could
140
be 4.
pounds, and you're like, what,
The top
6'2",
part is where you feel
180, 200 pounds, and you,
is
like,
what he told me.
you gonna
And,
send Aaron
you
up
know,
in
there's
there?
multiple
Aaron, I
witnesses
feel
that
bad
can
for you, dude,
validate
like,
that.
sometimes.
And
But don't get
Aaron's
no.
disposable.
Yes, he's like, he's a minion. He's like a minion.
Call first dibs.
But no.
Aaron's a great guy. Aaron really is a great
You
guy.
know, like I said, I want to go.
I don't know. They're one of the reasons, and I mean, I will say this. They're one of the reasons that has kept my interest. I mean, there's other, you know, Stephen Tango. You know, they've been in it a lot longer.
I'd love to, you know,
Zach
you guys
and
do that
his
investigation,
crew,
or
you know,
if you are able to
and I
get
like to watch
into
their
the
shows
house
because they're
that
not
has the demonic activity,
they're nowhere near
and
as
I'd
dramatic as
love to
Ghost
have you guys
Adventures. Now,
back on
Ghost
to
Adventures is
talk
very
about anything
comedic,
y'all
and I
found,
can,
your
you know,
experiences
sit there and
there,
laugh
things
at
like
it.
that.
And
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
everybody does it their own way, and you know, and I'm gonna tell you, Dalton and I, dressing group, it'd be pretty dang cool for us to have our own show on the Travel Channel one day. You know, we'll be the Redneck Ghost Hunters or something. I don't know, but
Well, and as you know, the way that Steve Gonzalez and Dave Tango and those guys conduct their investigations are a lot more like what probably you guys are doing, like what I did whenever I was doing investigations full time. There, you know, you do goof around, you do joke around a little bit and stuff like that, but it's not nearly as like you said, as dramatic as some other shows make it look out to be.
right, and it, you know, and that's. And I mean, and Zach, like I said, dude, if you listen, like, I don't hate you at all. I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, it's just every team has their own style. And if you are ballsy enough to go in there like Zach does, and, you know, confront a demon face to face, okay, more power to you. But, you know, there's several ways to come out of demons. Then, you know, yeah, you kind of need to provoke it a little bit, or in some aspects, but it's, you know, with the paranormal, I don't know, it's a very, very sticky situation, and it could, you know, it could turn bad, you know, quickly. You have to weed out.
Right, you have to be smart about it the whole time.
Right, and I just don't want nobody, you know, anybody listening or anything. I don't want somebody going in and, you know, seeing what doing what they see on TV, you know, Zach and them, and or some of these others like the Tennessee Race Chasers, which I'm actually friends with a couple of the guys from Mike and Scott, but it's kind of, you know, they're more laid back. They're more, you know, they're serious about it, but they're more laid back, and they have fun. So it's like everybody has their own personality. Every group has their own. Yeah, like I said, way of doing things, and I just don't want nobody
3 or 4
get hurt,
really good, high quality
getting the wrong idea.
pieces
Like,
of evidence.
do your research.
Me
You know,
personally,
study on
300 or 400 pieces of junk.
investigations, the
That's
paranormal.
just
I mean,
me.
go to the library, Google.
Well,
I
hey
mean, you
guys,
can't trust
I
everything on the
appreciate you
internet,
guys being
but
on the show.
you know,
You guys are
that's where I've learned a lot of my
I know we've had
information
some
is
connection
personal
issues and some audio
experiences,
problems,
talking to other
all
people,
kinds of circus
the
things
internet,
happening around
books,
us.
TV,
And you guys have been
and
absolute
just
troopers
I'm
with
like a
this.
little sponge. I try to
Well,
soak up as much as I can.
folks, how they can get in touch with you guys,
And I've
where
even
y'all can
studied
connect
on
with folks,
some demonology
online, things
stuff
like
too,
that,
because
real
like I
quick.
said, that interests me.
They can email us
and
at
plus
southernsoulsparanormal.com.
you can't have a paranormal team
southernsoulsparanormal@gmail.com. That's all lowercase, no
about
spaces.
demons. You just can't. You can't.
But the best way to
Because
contact
I
us
mean,
is either through our
if you put a
page.
team together,
You can find
and
us
you don't
on
have at
Facebook,
least
Southern Souls
one,
Paranormal,
if not
or
two people
you can call
on
me
the team,
personally
and y'all go up, it could
at
be
my phone number, which is listed on the page.
And
Yeah, and you're going to run. Unfortunately, I hate to say this, you're going to run into that at some point.
Right.
You can't avoid it.
But mine is 205.
And that's sad. But
570.
it's kind of
3500.
almost it's almost like we all try to look out for each other, but then again it's kind of like almost every man for himself, so to speak. It's like who's got the best common sense.
He does.
And
Most areas.
that's just what I try to have.
There you
They
go.
think a
You
lot of
can
us
also
Southerners we don't have
reach
common
out to us
sense,
on our
but
personal Facebook pages. It's,
and some of us don't.
Dalton Jones,
Some of us
and
don't.
then mine is.
There's a reason here hold my beer is a thing.
Exactly.
And
Hold my
also,
beer.
there's
Let me put my hair up and let me go. Let me.
But you know what?
Hey, I mean,
That happens in New Jersey too. So
contact us about any questions you have.
hey,
Even if you
hey
have
Dalton, I know we've kind of, I don't want to say we've been ignoring you, but we've been letting you just sit along the side.
We're not
I did want to ask you because I know you're the lead in your group.
And
And because we've been talking about the TV shows and the predominance of the paranormal in the pop culture, a lot of people have an idea of what's going to happen with an investigation. Have you ever run into anybody or into any misconceptions when you're going into an investigation, and how do you handle things like that?
Well, I mean, we really haven't had any misconceptions that I can think of right off the bat.
I'm always full of energy.
I mean,
Dalton can tell you,
other than, people thinking all spirits are demons, which is not true. I mean, it's just simply not true. And I mean, even in the Bible, it says that spirits exist, and spirits, demons, and angels are all separate beings. But I mean, that's really the only misconception I can really think of about anything like that.
Well, I know. As a Christian myself, I know you guys. Y'all mentioned about the kind of the, for lack of a better term, the backlash you get as a paranormal investigator from some Christians, and ghosts are biblical. I mean, when you look at the story of David, they called up the ghost of Samuel to confirm David as king. So it's a biblical thing. If you're a Christian, you shouldn't. This should be an area of expertise for you, not something for you to lash out against. Personally, that's just my personal philosophy.
And I believe that 100%. As a matter of fact, I actually tell people that if you believe in God and you believe in the Bible, but you say spirits aren't real, that's just, you can't. I mean, that's a contradiction. You're saying that God's real, and you're saying that you believe in the Bible, but yet spirits aren't real. I mean, it says plain as day in the Bible. I mean, in many different parts throughout it. I mean, it mentions spirits. But I mean, it's just a big contradiction. I mean, if you believe in God but you don't believe in spirits.
Right, exactly.
Look at their evidence, show them our evidence.
Exactly. That's exactly the way I've always felt that way. And I've gotten some flack about being heavily into the paranormal from some Christian friends of mine, but when I explain it to them, they're like, oh, okay, well, because a lot of times they think that you're dabbling in things, and no, you're doing serious investigation. You're trying to actually gather evidence, and you're trying to actually, I don't want to say prove the existence of, because it's kind of a thing you can't really prove. But you're trying to gather as much evidence as you can, not only to legitimize what you're doing, but also to help the folks whose home you're in.
Well, guys, that's where we're going to have to cut off this conversation, pretty much at the halfway mark. But I will tell you that at this point of our talk, we started getting into a little more dark areas where we started talking about some future investigations that they are going to be doing. We went into some areas where we were talking about places that have potential demonic activity, which I felt like was better suited towards maybe the second episode. And then also we went over some EVPs that they were kind enough to share with us. So you guys make sure that you tune in next week and catch part 2 of this great conversation with Jessica and Dalton. You will not be disappointed, I promise. That being said, I do appreciate you guys listening to us this week. If you're on Facebook, check out our page, True Paranormal - the podcast. give us a like, and let us know that you're out there. We've got a lot of information on our Facebook page, not only just old episodes and things like that, but we have a lot of articles on there and some funny memes and whatever we could just kind of throw at the wall that we think you guys might enjoy. Also, if you're on Facebook, make sure that you guys connect with Jessica and Dalton. That they're at Southern Souls Paranormal on Facebook, and we've got all the links to all of their stuff on our show notes. But make sure that you guys check their page out and give them a like and let them know that you heard about them on True Paranormal. I know that they would love to hear from you guys. If you're on iTunes and you're listening to us, be sure to subscribe and give us a rating and a review if you get a chance. Also, we're on Google Play and all kinds of other platforms. Wherever you're at, let us know that you're out there. And also follow us on Twitter at True Para Podcast. You could also just search for True Paranormal the podcast, just like you would any other time, and we're right there. Give us a little check mark and say howdy if you get a chance. I'd like to thank you guys for listening to us this week, and every week for that matter. Be sure to join us again next week for part 2 of our conversation with Southern Souls Paranormal, right here on True Paranormal, the podcast.